So there's a crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, a water crisis. And I'm going to be reading an article from the BBC here. I like to get the outside perspective on this dystopian fucking hellhole country called the United States of America. Jackson, Mississippi has no water to drink or flush toilets. 180,000 residents in Jackson, Mississippi have indefinitely lost access to reliable running water after excessive rainfall and flooding. Rising floodwaters over the weekend breached the city's main water treatment facility, bringing it to the brink of collapse. A state of emergency has been declared, and schools and restaurants and businesses have temporarily closed. Once again, I just want to talk about this real quick. The country, once again, Joe Biden is trying to take credit. Oh, the infrastructure deal. It was infrastructure week last year. At some point, it was infrastructure week a year ago. Thank you, Mila, for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. But anyway, it was infrastructure week a year ago, and yet no one has seen any infrastructure upgrades anywhere at all. It's almost like they lied and it was just a corporate handout bill. Almost like that. The city has already been under a boil water notice for a month. Imagine that. You can't drink the water that comes out of your tap. You need to boil it for an hour before you're allowed to drink it. And even then, boiling water doesn't get off a lot of the shit that's in the water sometimes, you know? Problems at the O.B. Curtis water plant began after heavy rains caused the Pearl River to crest and spill over onto city streets over the weekend. City Hall confirmed on Monday that river water had entered the facility, which treats more than 50 million U.S. gallons, 190 million liters per day. I love how they call it U.S. gallons, because nowhere else fucking uses the shitty term gallon. You know what I mean? Both the city and the state are distributing bottled drinking water to residents, as well as non-potable water for toilets via tanker trucks, with Mississippi's National Guard assisting relief efforts. I want to talk about bottled water real quick. How much of this is a handout to these bottled water corporations and companies? Oh, great. Public utilities are fucked up. There's flooding. Now we're going to get a mass buy from the government, a government contract. They're going to buy a fuckload of our product. By the way, just a reminder, bottled water carries a risk of microplastics and PFAS contamination. A lot of bottled water products are also bottled with BPA. So bottled water, not that healthy for you. Is it healthier than whatever the fuck's going on in the tap there? Absolutely. But overall, I personally would steer clear of bottled water if I have the option. That's just me. On Tuesday afternoon, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba said the very fragile city-run plant would not turn off its water supply, but officials needed time to treat the water. He blamed the system's failure on staffing shortages and a set of accumulated problems based on deferred maintenance that has not taken place in decades. Once again, this is the big thing. There was no maintenance. These motherfuckers, they built the water plant and were like, motherfucker, you need to replace the pipes. You need to make sure that shit's good. Like, again, our infrastructure, our water quality is worse overall in this country than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Why? Because our infrastructure is failing. I want you to Google your zip code and water quality. See what pops up. Almost everywhere in the country, wherever you live in this country, unless you live in like fucking goddamn, I don't know, like Rich Town, USA, chances are there are some form of contaminants and pollutants and unhealthy chemicals in your water. Right, so I recommend if you have any of the excess money to get water filters. I can't recommend them enough. But again, this fucking shit is crazy. Our infrastructure in this country is a giant disaster. And even though Infrastructure Week was last year, it's not gotten any better. I can tell you that much. Some would even say it's gotten worse. So, again, this country is in tatters, and if you live in Jackson, Mississippi, you're fucked. Your house has been destroyed. You can't even use a bathroom. You can't drink any water. And is the U.S. going to do anything for you? I hope you had flood insurance. I hope you paid a private company for flood insurance. You know, it's a big subsidy for flood insurance companies that the U.S. has such failing infrastructure. Think about it that way. It's fucking crazy shit. Horrible, horrible, terrible, terrible fucking country. Shit on my fucking shoes. And I'm not wearing any shoes, okay, asshole? Now look at this dog.